You start, okay?
Good evening, dear guest and respected Toastmaster. Welcome to the meeting of Toastmaster, blending beyond boundaries. I am very happy to welcome you to the joint meeting of St. Paul Toastmaster Club Bahrain, Eloquent Elite Toastmaster Club India, All Elite Advanced Toastmaster Club India. I am Toastmaster Nupur Saklecha. I have touched 3 month milestone in Allocate Elite Toastmaster Club. I deliver icebreaker speech and taken the role of table topic masters. Today I am pleased and proud to you to your today I am pleased and proud to be your sergeant of arm for the meeting. I am happy to present the mission of Toastmaster. We provide a supporting and positive learning experience in which member are empowered to develop communication and leadership skills, resulting a great self-confidence and personal growth. There are a few housekeeping policy that we follow. Please rename yourself as follow to help the Zoom master spotting your appropriately. All role players have already been informed about how they need to rename themselves. All Toastmasters not playing any role, please prefix TM to your name. All other guests, please prefix name with guest. Please take 10 seconds for this activity. Please keep your audio on mute throughout the meeting and unmute your microphone only when you are invited to speak. Please keep your video camera on. Speaker do feel nice to see people's face. Please turn off the video only if you have to eat or when you have to step away. Please choose and display from reaction, high five, namaste, or a pause when speaker join and leave. Please note, this meeting is being recorded. Please stay back to network after the meeting. It is, it is my proud privilege to introduce the presiding officer, Distinguished Toastmaster Renus Thomas. He is the telecom and IT industry experience in India and Middle East for more than 2 decades. He is a coach and creative thinker. He loves organizing programs for children and teens. He has been Toastmaster since he is the president of St. Paul Toastmaster Club Bahrain, also counselor of St. Paul Gravelian Club. As recently as December 2024, he received recognition as one of the top 10 Indian director by CEO Inside in their edition for Leader of the Year from Asia 2024. This award acknowledges leaders who has effectively applied their extensive industry knowledge and experience to the market. We are proud to have inspired leader among us. Over to you, distinguished Toastmaster Renus Thomas.
Thank you, Toastmaster Nipur. A big round of applause to our Surgeon at Arms for the wonderful brilliance in opening this meeting. And I'm actually humbled by those words that she mentioned. And I always look to foster leadership in many people across, and whoever I come across, that's what I want to do. It's not what I want to take in, but what I want to give. So before I begin, let me just call this meeting to order. It's a joint meeting with three clubs, two from India and one from Bahrain. And this is a subsequent series of going beyond borders, how we can connect, how we can network, how we can communicate with people from different walks of life, from different countries. We have people here from all the way from the west to the east. And I'm so happy to talk and to meet and to greet each one of you. So, welcoming all the Toastmasters, distinguished Toastmasters, and guests in this meeting. Before I begin, can I ask Toastmaster Girja, are we okay with the agenda? Do we have any apologies or shall we go ahead with?
You can go ahead. Everything is fine.
Thank you so much. Can I ask any of the members to please propose the adoption of the agenda and someone to kindly second it? You can raise your hands and I can just take the acknowledgement. I can see Toastmaster Dr. Sumant and Toastmaster Nupur has raised the hand. So thank you for proposing and seconding it. We'll take it as a parliamentary procedure later on. This is it's important that we do this, but I wanted to make it a little bit more lively, more active, and more fun in today's meeting. And today's meeting is something unique as well. I'm not going to talk about it. The Toastmaster of the day will do that. I believe we are all known to each other here. Do we have any guests present at the meeting? I'm not able to see my participant list, but is there any guests present here? Since we are just a few members, I can see. Or if not, once again, welcoming all of you. There was a man in a village who had a problem in his eyesight. And despite going to many doctors, he was not able to come to his clear vision. One after the other, day after day, month after month, and years rolled by. So he decided to meet this seer in the village. He met the person, and the seer said to him, all that you need to do is very simple. You need to have green color whenever you look around you. Green. So the man was thinking, how am I supposed to do? I've got my walls blue in color. My flooring is deep red. How can I make things green around me? So feeling devastated and thinking what he can do, he met with some of his relatives and they said, let's do one thing. If this is what the seer said, there could be something behind it. Let's start painting the wall green, the floor green, the hanging pictures green, the lights green, the rotating fan green. They did that. And the man came into his home and he found everything green. He thought this will help him out. But as he stepped out of the home, he saw the soil brown. He saw the fence dark gray. And he said, this can't help. So they all come back again and they clean out the courtyard, make it completely green. The fence is made green. Days go by, this keeps changing. And then he thinks, is it time to go and see the doctor? And the report comes back negative. He goes straight away to the seer and said, see, I've done all that you could. So difficult it was for me for many, many days to repaint everything green around me, but I still cannot have my clear vision. And the seer said, I didn't tell you to paint your wall green. Neither did I say to repaint your flooring green, nor the outside of your home green. All that you had needed to do was get a glass with a green colored tinted paint. Ladies and gentlemen, it's all about the human perspective. And what we as Toastmasters do, we communicate with people, we meet people. People don't remember the words that you have said, nor do they remember what you have done to them. But people remember how you made them feel. Words will pass away. The deeds you do may pass away. But how they felt remains with them. And that is the reason nearly a century ago, a person in United States founded this non-profit organization that touched millions and millions of people worldwide. His name is Ralph C. Smedley, the founder of Toastmasters International. His vision is alive a century from then. Present in around 148 countries, 270,000 members, 14,000 clubs. Wow. And one of the core values of Toastmasters International is respect. What you give and what you get. So, ladies and gentlemen, it's about the perspective of human beings like you and I that we are able to relate to people around us. So, next time, change your perspective. Make them feel good. Taking this meeting along further is a good friend of mine, and we have been associated with so many events, mega events, I would call it as, in so many unique meetings and themes. She is a Rotarian and a Toastmaster, founder of Eloquent Elite's Toastmasters Club in February 2021 that was started. And she's also the founder of Eloquent Elite's Gavels Club 2023. Ladies and gentlemen, today, and I'm so proud and so happy to see her among us. She flew all the way from US to UK, landed a couple of hours ago. You can see the background that you all have, flew across the skies and joined us in today's meeting. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for the Toastmaster of the day, Toastmaster Girja Deshpande. Over to you.
I'm honored and spellbound each time I listen to you. Thank you so much for that very beautiful opening of the meeting. As I said, listening is learning. That's what the first lesson the universe teaches us. That's why I chose this background. They say that the universe makes this sound. Oh. The movement of the planets. There is a celestial sound that is being created. Sages have been able to hear it long before any scientific equipment came about in the world to project that noise so that people can listen to that sound and how it energizes the whole universe. It is beyond any religion because it is a philosophy that nature, the universe, teaches us many things. You get up in the morning and you listen to the crow's cawing. The way the crows caw, it tells you whether they are happy with the environment or whether they are upset with something. The way they flutter their wings and they all fly in one direction, or they all gather together in some place. You see what is happening and you realize that nature tells us something. The way the animals move around, the trees move, the breeze comes along, the waves of the ocean crash at the shore, the way the water rappels when you are sitting on a boat and going, everything tells us a story. What was there yesterday is not what there today. But we don't seem to pay attention. Getting and spending, we lay waste our hours. The beauty of the world, the wonder of the world with which we looked at it when we were children is somewhere lost, either to books or to the multimedia or to the buzz that is going on within our own heads. And we miss all of that. It is said that before a tsunami or an earthquake, people come to know, but we are not aware of it because we don't pay attention. But birds know it. Animals know it. They all seem to go beyond, run away from that place which is going to be affected hours before, if they can. And if they're tied down to a place, they're squeaking, they're shrieking, they're bawling, they're making all kinds of noises. But we, locked in our own air-conditioned rooms, we don't listen. So we don't pay attention and we get succumbed to the tragedy. Later on, people notice that after the tragedy has occurred. Sometimes there are noises which are not voiced, but you see the face of a person, there is an unspoken trauma that is coming, or there is a uncontrollable joy, but the person is not able to express it because of certain constraints. But you can feel it if only we listen. But this is the most important skill with which we all learned our languages. People learn languages the best when they listen to native speakers, and we learn best when we are 2, 3, 4 at that age. Or how many languages you teach a child, the children learn it like this. Because the mind is so unpolluted. And this is the greatest skill for every leader. Because sometimes things are said to them and sometimes things are not said to them. Everybody doesn't have the courage or the freedom to approach a leader and say what they feel or what they see around. But if the leader has the observation and he pays attention, he listens to what is going on around. And then he picks up the signals and then sends feelers to understand it more and get what exactly is the pulse of the people and then take the right decisions. Be it a small organizations, be it a family, we need to understand people. If we don't understand what our spouse is feeling and we take a decision thinking, okay, he's always said yes. So if he hasn't said anything, that means yes. Because always generally you take it, okay, tacit understanding. If there is an objection, he will voice out. Not all the time. Things change. A person's maturity changes, mood changes, health changes. Accordingly, things change. So never take it for granted. Always ask. So that ability to listen, that keenness to listen to other people's opinions is something that we all have to learn. What people want to say, can we completely pay that attention? We find it very difficult. So at least I think once in a while, once in 2 months at least, we must have a session where we completely only listen and then probably have some discussion on what we listen to and then learn our own lessons, introspect and learn. Where did I do well? What did I listen to well? Did I listen to the emotional content? Did I listen to the information well? What did I grasp out of the whole thing? Did I get the spirit of the message or did I go only by the shadow? So many things are there in listening, layers of listening. So let's start attempting it from this meeting. That is the effort with which we are starting this today. So but we start with the usual format, and we haven't got a general role because we are spending some time listening. So we are not having a general evaluator. I will introduce the role players and they will explain their role. And then after that, the speaker will speak. We have only one speaker and then one speech evaluator. So the first role player is the grammarian, Nisha Sanjeev. She is a corporate legal professional. She has been with Toastmasters since 2020. Very poised, accomplished lady who speaks very little about herself. She has got two high achiever sons. Reading and listening to music are her hobbies. Over to you, Nisha, for understanding the role of grammarian. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Am I audible? I hope I am.
Yes, you are.
Thank you, and I'm so glad to have listened to this kind of, two stalwart speakers at the start, both the presiding officer as well as the TMOD. So I'm all charged as a grammarian. But well, I would say that it's not very good to be judgmental, but this is a role which allows me to judge. So I'm going to judge you, but I'm going to judge you on your grammar and your language. As a grammarian, my role is to introduce a word of the day. I shall also give you a grammar tip. So if you allow me to share my screen.
Do share. Yes.
Just let me know if you're able to see the screen.
Yes, we can.
See the screen full, as in full screen, you can see it? Or can you see it better now?
I can
Yeah,
make it
it's a-
bigger and I can see it better. Yes.
Okay,
Are you
so
all able to make it bigger on your screen?
no, I can make it bigger.
Okay. Yeah. I can see it here. Yes.
Okay, so the word of the day is cogent. The meaning of the word is clear, logical, convincing. Similar sounding or synonyms for the word cogent are convincing, compelling, strong, persuasive, powerful. The part of speech it's an adjective. So you can say that it's a cogent reason. He's a cogent person because he's a persuasive person, or he's a powerful or strong person. There is a cogent belief pronounced as cogent. Usage in a sentence: I'm grateful to them for their clear and cogent submissions. There is certainly no cogent case to be made out of this. The arguments made by the lawyer were cogent. The word cogent is used a lot in the legal fraternity and a lot in legal parlance, because you generally tend to say that the lawyer's arguments were cogent, because cogent is like a word which talks more about how strong your reasoning was. So cogent is used a lot in the legal, because I'm a legal professional, I know that this word comes a lot when lawyers use it a lot or judges use it a lot. So cogent is the word. To me, it's not a very new word, but it's not a word which is very often used. So I would encourage everybody to use the word cogent. Let me be the first to use this word. I would say that with the format of this meeting, having TED Talks and that session, there was a very cogent reason for me to attend this session. That is the word for the day for everyone to use. I shall also present a grammar tip, and please do let me know if you're able to see the screen as well.
Yes.
Okay. So the grammar tip is basically usage of certain words which we incorrectly use. A lot of times we use the word anyways. So is anyway or anyways, what is it? What is the correct word? While it may seem that the words would share the same meaning, they don't typically mean the same. When the letter S is added, it means more than one. This is not the case in the word anyways. So there can be no plural to an adverb, and hence there is no word called anyways. Anyways is incorrect. The correct word is anyway. So that's the grammar tip. And I shall come back at the end of this meeting when I'm called upon to give my grammarian report. Thank you. And over to the TMOV.
Thank you. Is Pranay there? We do not have Pranay. So will somebody be able to take up the counter role? Thank you. Thank you. So I request Sita to explain both the roles. Before that, I would just like to introduce Sita. Let me tell you very clearly, I'm very fond of Sita because he is a person who will always keep his promise. And whenever it is possible, he's always up for the game, whether it's a role, whether it is a speech. And when he takes it up, he does it with a lot of passion and innovativeness. He has been a Toastmaster for the last 7 years with Mumbai Toastmasters, and now he's with Advanced Elite Club. Currently, he resides in Bangalore. He's working in a Japanese investment bank based out of Mumbai, so he frequently flies between Bangalore and Mumbai. And over to you, Sita.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the Day, Toastmaster Girija. It's my pleasure to be part of a meeting which is a joint meeting. It's always good to know and learn in every Toastmaster meeting. So I look forward for this meeting as well. Once again, good evening, good afternoon, good morning. I don't know which part of the world all of you have joined. My name is Sita Raman. I would be playing two roles. The first role is the timer for this meeting. There is a proverb which says, time and tide waits for none. We just heard our Toastmaster of the Day talk about listening. Time as a concept doesn't make any sound, but it happens continuously. It's a silent performer. I would say it completely orchestrates the symphony of minutes and seconds, which is exactly what I would be doing today to ensure that the entire meeting goes on time, especially the specific session, the speaker session, and we don't end up having a Netflix series rather than finishing off this meeting in 1.5 hours. So with that, today we have a prepared speech. The timing guidelines for that is 4 to 6 minutes while we hear more details from the evaluator. As a timer, I would be sharing my screen. If I can share my screen, I'll be signaling a few cards. If you're able to see my screen, please let me know if you're able to. Yep, thank you. So at the end of 4 minutes, which is the qualification, I would be showing you the green card. At the end of 5 minutes, I would be showing you the yellow or the amber card. At the end of 6 minutes, we would have the red card. There is going to be a grace period of 30 seconds on the higher side. The card would continue to be shown until the speaker completes. So this is for the timing guidelines for the speaker. We also have an evaluation round, which is for 1 minute to 2 minutes. At the end of the first minute of evaluation, we'll have the green card, 1.5 minutes, the amber, and at the end of 2 minutes, I'll be showing the red card. And we have a 30 seconds grace period on the higher end. That's the role of a timer today that I would be playing. I've also would be playing the role of the R counter. I'd be looking at some of the sentence fillers, if I would call it, from each of you. So beware, you should also be conscious of time and just to fill in the gaps, avoid using slurs like, ooh, you know, because I'll also be monitoring that. With that, all the best to the various role players here, and back to you, Toastmaster of the day, Toastmaster Girija.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I request now our speech evaluator to explain the role of the speech evaluation that he will be doing, and it is Dr. Sumant Mishra. He is a pediatric dentist at the Ministry of Health, Kuwait, a 14 years continuous excellence award from the Ministry of Health from Kuwait he has been earning. He is a member of 4 Toastmasters Club and the director of Area 31. And imagine, all the time he keeps children smiling. He keeps listening to them and telling them stories while he is just yanking off their truths and they don't even realize it. Over to you, Dr. Sumant Mishra. Thank you.
John Maxwell aptly said, a leader is the one who knows the way, who goes the way, and who shows the way. So here we have all the nice leaders, right from the beginning, our presiding officer, DT Menninger, and the dynamic Toastmaster of the day, Toastmaster Girija Deshpandeji. Thank you very much for the nice introduction. And straight away, without further ado, I'd like to describe about our speaker today for the prepared speech, Toastmaster Rajneesh Sharma, who is embarking on his presentation mastery pathway, level 1, project 1, which is an icebreaker, breaking the ice, breaking the thaw. So here, our speaker will be having the time of 4 to 6 minute speech time with an amazing, interesting speech title. The best is the enemy of the good. The purpose of his speech is for our member, Toastmaster Rajneesh Sharma, to introduce himself to our club and to learn the basic structure of public speech. I'll be evaluating, and I wish my speaker good luck in his future projects and this project. All the best. I will give my evaluation report once I'm called upon during the specific time. Thank you very much. Over to you, our dynamic TMOD, Toastmaster of the Day, Toastmaster Girija. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Our speaker, Rajni Sharma, is a busy finance professional and also doing his MBA. In spite of that, I have been pestering him, join the club, join the club. And he joined. And then I said, when are you presenting his icebreaker? So here is he today, and he will give his best intros. I'm not dwelling deeper on it. Rajneesh Sharma, best is the enemy of the good. Best is the enemy of the good. Rajneesh Sharma.
Thank you. So yesterday I got this gift pack from Toastmasters. It was a surprise for me. I was not knowing I am getting any gift from Toastmasters. So when I opened the box, I got this key ring. So then I thought, what is it for? What it can be for me? What doors it can open for me? Then I realized that this is not a simple key. This key is key for success. This key is key for growth. And this key is meant for me to become better and good. Because best is the enemy of the good. Thank you, Toastmaster of the Day. And fellow Toastmasters, I think there is no guest, but welcome to Toastmaster meeting. And today is a very important moment for me. I'm taking my first icebreaker topic in the presentation mastery skill. And it's an exciting yet nerve-wracking moment, to be very frank. Like when I heard all the speakers who are having so much of experience on leaderships and various topics, definitely the excitement and nervousness is natural. So, but I am trying my best to cope up with that. And but the Toastmaster environment, this environment, despite the best leaders in place, is giving a positive environment for the new entrant to the club. And that is what I'm feeling right now. Everyone is there to support me, right? So it's good that we all strive for an excellence, but we always caught up in the idea of perfection. And I too fell into this trap. And I would say that when I joined my first job, Shriram Group, I got a very good exposure over there. And to some extent, I was satisfied. But after a while, I felt that something is lacking. I was not satisfied from two aspects. One is the monetary benefits, another one is the growth prospect. To make some change, I changed job a couple of times. However, still the satisfaction level was not there. It was missing. It was eluded. Then in search of greater growth, I took a decision which at that time might be a little odd and little bold. I take a sabbatical. I took a break and started preparing for CAT exam. I managed to get into a IMT Ghaziabad, which is one of the top business school in India. You would imagine that I must have joined the course. Somehow I didn't. I don't know why. I kept this milestone for future. And since I believed in continuous improvement, I changed my goalpost and set the goal for physical fitness. I created a rigorous schedule for myself. I was a little tough on myself. I can say that when I look into retrospectively, getting up early in the morning, doing meditation, yoga, running, swimming, so many things that all together. I made some good progress, but somehow I was not able to maintain the discipline for long. So what it means, with these two examples, which indicates I was looking for something like perfection. So these too many high goals crushed my motivation. This meant delays, disappointment, despair, and disruptions. And I tried my best to come out of these 4Ds. And universe heard my cries. One of my best friends gave me a book titled How to Be an Imperfectionist. Topic is a little odd. We are looking for a perfection and the topic is imperfectionist. This changed my mindset radically. And what I learned from this book is it's good to go a little slow, simple, and flexible way. Adopt a smart goal approach, specific, simple, achievable goals. That will take away the anxiety of setting the bar too high. Keeping that in mind, I start applying these principles in my day-to-day life. And I find there is some positive change in my personal, professional, and in my relationship side of things. Then I thought that I need to improve my communication skills. So then after checking various platforms, I found that Toastmasters is the one where I can explore more, where I can improve my communication skills. So then when I learned about Toastmasters, I attended few meetings as a guest. When I saw the evaluation of the speakers and the way it was conducted, I found that there is nothing called perfection. What Toastmaster encourages us is to become better than what we were yesterday. So this is what I learned, and that is the reason I joined Toastmasters. And finally, there are many reasons why I took so much time in taking the icebreaker speech role. Girja ma'am definitely motivated me a lot. She pushed me a lot. But finally, I'm glad that I have taken it up, because this is how one can come out of the comfort zone. Finally, I would like to share one quote from a famous author, Tim Ferriss, who said, what we fear doing most is usually what we most need to do. With that, over to you, Toastmaster Uday. Thank you.
Thank you. That was great. Now, we will have the reports as usual at the end of the session, and in between, we'll go to the listening mode. So I request our distinguished Toastmaster Anosh to start playing. We'll listen to a TED Talk. We'll listen and understand what it is about. Thank you.
Sure.
Thank you, Rajneesh. Wonderful job.
I feel so fortunate to be here, you guys. I should let you know I'm not an academic. Hell, I barely have a university diploma. But I have found myself in a very fortunate seat. I am the showrunner of my own series. Showrunner is industry talk for a boss lady, hence the blazer. And even if, as I say it to you, it feels strange, because it wasn't so long ago, 4 years now, that I felt completely powerless and unqualified, and specifically like I didn't have a choice. Have you ever felt a tingle inside that you were meant for more, that something outside of your prescribed life was calling to you, but that you didn't feel entitled to it? If so, don't sweat. I want to talk to you about the choice you have to grow outside of your comfort zone. See, I spent the majority of my adult life feeling like I had no choice. I lived in a constant state of rejection. I'm an actor. I spent my career going into rooms, desperately trying to convince someone that I was the perfect version of that character, only to be told no. I'm sure you're all thinking that acting is a very glamorous career, and the irony is the majority of creative types work a very small percentage of the time, if at all. So I got fed up. I mean, look, if I was trying to sell you this jumper and you said no, I could blame the jumper. But when the product is yourself, it becomes harder and harder to sleep at night. As passionate as I was about acting, I was so sick of feeling like I didn't have a say in my own career. So I did something that felt a little bit illegal. I started writing not very well. And it felt like, I don't know, it felt like writing was meant for someone smarter than me or more special than me. But I'd get these ideas. One in particular, a little morsel. I had an idea for a medical dramedy that took place in a pediatric children's hospital. I know, hilarious. And instead of giving it time to develop past its infancy stage, I pitched it to an industry veteran. And this guy, smart, hell of a resume, I really trust him. He's also a very good father. For those of you who know my dad, Ivan Reitman, you know he's considered one of the forefathers of comedy. He's the dude who made Ghostbusters. Yes. And he's also here today. Happy birthday, Dad. And I am so sorry for the story I'm about to tell you. You see, if you know my dad at all, he is beyond blunt. Yeah, I'll never forget his face. He looked at me right in the eyes, said, "Catherine, a medical dramedy? Leave that to Aaron Sorkin." Those words on a loop reverberated through my brain for weeks. Leave that to Aaron, leave that to Aaron, leave that to Aaron Sorkin. Oh, every time I went to brush my teeth, leave that to Aaron Sorkin. Tried to parallel park my car, leave that to Aaron Sorkin. Everything should be left to Aaron Sorkin, who of course is responsible for writing The Newsroom and The West Wing, and more notably won an Oscar for The Social Network. Smart guy. But yeah, that shut me down. I released the idea back into the wild and felt shame for even stepping outside of my comfort zone. Now, if that moment is something you can relate to, where you suppressed your magic and you devalued yourself, I've got awesome news. That is an absolutely required moment in identifying the choice. I keep harping on about the choice because I find it very important to notice that there is one. I find that empowering. But before we take that step, let's just, for a second, examine what happens if you say no to the choice, because we do it all the time, right? You don't have to say yes. You can ignore your inner voice and listen to that more critical voice that's always running, right? You're not smart enough, you're not special enough. Remember that teacher who didn't think much of you? That ex-boyfriend who thought you were a hack? He wasn't always wrong. And what if you fail? What would that feel like? Would it be that different than your current state of creative passivity? For me, those two states were the same. The idea of writing something and it not going anywhere, failing, and not writing because I was too afraid of failing was about equal. If you do fail, can you survive it? I think you can. Talk to someone on their deathbed. In 2011, Bronnie Ware published a book about her time as a palliative care nurse. She documented the 5 biggest regrets of people on their deathbed. The number one regret of people about to pass away: I wish I'd had the courage to live a life more true to myself and didn't worry so much about what others expected of me. So look, you can unpack that in a bunch of different ways, but for me, the takeaway is that it is our duty to listen to our inner voice in order to be our truest self. So let's take a step to the edge for a second. Let's just consider the uncomfortable. Now look, my Aaron Sorkin idea, Dad, wasn't there yet. But Aaron Sorkin didn't become Aaron Sorkin by allowing anyone who did something before him halt his development, right? Granted, he's a white male, and that gave him opportunity, you bet. And that's not just my opinion, that's a statistical fact. As a female showrunner, I frequently find myself in these conversations, talking about how key roles in the entertainment industry aren't going to women. It's why I make a practice of hiring predominantly women, even if their resumes don't support it yet. But guys, Aaron Sorkin is not the problem. He's merely the incumbent. He is currently holding office, which means you get to be the challenger. And yes, your path into the arena must be a challenge. And in order to do that, you you gotta enter the arena. That's where the choice comes into play. My path as the challenger started after I gave birth to my first son, Jackson. I went back to work too early. I say that because I had postpartum depression. And a few years ago, no one was really talking about postpartum depression because a lot of people associated it with the stigma that you were broken. Well, I was not broken, but I was experiencing a hormonal imbalance. I felt like I was having an identity crisis. I didn't feel like myself when I was with my son. I didn't feel like myself when I was at work, which made my first job back, shooting an independent film in Philadelphia, hard. You see, it also happened to fall on my first Mother's Day. I was away from my 6-week-old son, surrounded by male comedians, and they start giving me hell, right? They're teasing me, saying that they'll send my son a Mother's Day card on my behalf. Would it be more intimate if they signed it from the nanny? Was my son calling the nanny mom yet? As you can guess, I cried. I broke down right there. I still remember their faces, you know. It was so awkward and painful and silent. But there was also something really funny about it. But I didn't know it in the moment. I went back to my hotel room and I called my husband, who's also my producing partner, smart guy. And he said, "You gotta write this down. We watch TV all the time. When's the last time you saw this story? You can't be the only one experiencing this." There it was, right? The choice. And this time, goddammit, I said yes. I wrote it. It fumbled out of me. It was awkward and not perfect. And for those of you who are familiar with my series, Workin' Moms, you know that it is the finale of the pilot episode, followed by my character personifying that moment by battle crying at a 900-pound grizzly bear. If in this moment you're flirting with the idea of saying yes to the choice, I got 2 things for you. 1, it's a lot of work. I don't want to downplay that. You're going to work. 2, that work has to be specific to you. You must cut your voice so sharply that it can be mistaken for nobody but you. Working Moms was that for me. I felt confident writing about what it was to be a working mother because I know how hard it is. I know how humiliating it is. I also know how luxurious it is. I get to leave my kids now, and do something that's just for me. If you are considering saying yes to the choice, I don't want to burst your bubble, but others will too. You're not the only one who's going to take a whack at it. When I first sold my series, it was actually to a US network. And because my resume had nothing on it, they attached another showrunner. And this guy, who, by the way, is still a friend of mine, really funny guy, his #1 job was to make sure that my show, Workin' Moms, was as relatable to as many people as possible. And in what world was a mother battle crying at a bear relatable? Was my show targeting mountaineer women? There I was again, that choice. I could stick to my guns and be deemed difficult, or I could trust his experience. I turned in the pilot to the network without the bear scene, and a few other scenes that maybe weren't so obviously funny. The network passed. Turns out they had another working mother show in development that was very specific, very good, and also produced by Louis C.K. Ironically, the incumbent, or Aaron Sorkin, of my actual genre. That lesson was a hard one, but an important one. You see, if you're going to be brave enough to say yes to the choice, you must also have the courage to stick to your vision because it will be tested. The silver lining is the rights reverted back to me. And after several more passes, my show happened to cross the desk of the tastemaker and serious risk taker, Sally Catto at the CBC. She greenlit the pilot to series. I remember sitting down with her the first time because she commented on how the show's specificity was so relatable to her. So perhaps being specific is actually very relatable. Look, you might watch this and still not be ready to say yes to the choice. That is a very worthy part of the journey. Only you know when it's time to enter the arena. I just finished saying yes to my second season of this show. And I'm about to start this process with a whole new show that is completely outside of my comfort zone. Dare I say it's outside of Aaron Sorkin's too. Who, for the record, is a genius and doing just fine. Guys, whatever voice you've been gifted with, and it is a gift, I'm here not to encourage, but to demand that you at least consider it. Because why not you, baby? Enter the arena. Thank you.
So we are back here after listening to a speech by a person who has been a producer, writer, actor, and who had her own moments of self-torment. I just want that we think about it. Her expression has been very cogent, and we got the message, the emotional, the philosophical, as well as the psychological roller coaster that she has been through, and how she tackled it to arrive where she has. So let's just discuss, have a freewheeling discussion based on some few questions. So I'm not going to conduct it like a table topic session. I'll just ask a question. Whoever wants to share can share. It can be, we can have the timing. It can be maximum for 2 minutes, we can share. But on the same topic also, if somebody else wants to say something, let's speak. Because what we want to hear, but we want to listen to voices. We want to listen to people's opinions. So we may listen to very few opinions about it, but we need to listen to what people want to say about it. So what is the most important message that you got from it? Each one of us may have got different messages. What is the most important message that you got from this entire sharing? Who would like to go first? Yes, Nisha. Thank you.
Thank you. So the important message, or I would say the most compelling stroke, cogent message that I got from that thing that I heard just right now, is to listen to your inner voice, to just not think or shy away from how people will perceive what you think or your decisions are going to be, but you should go ahead and do things which you very strongly feel about. Because at the end of the day, and I think the speaker very clearly said that one major regret that people carry during their on their deathbed is that they did not have the courage to go ahead and do things and not think of what people would say about it if they had gone ahead and done that. So that being a major regret, it's basically saying that you feared doing what you wanted to, or you wanted to venture out to do, or what you probably loved to do, thinking that it may not go down well with people. Those people can be your family, those people can be your friends, neighbors, it can be your society. And actually, we sometimes feel that society is outside of our family, which is not the case. In fact, our spouse is also, somebody who we might feel that is not being supportive of your decisions in life. So I think having the courage and conviction to stand for what you believe, to decide that no, I will go ahead and do it, because at the end of it, I am answerable. And I want to say this to my own soul, that I went ahead and decided or did something just because, I had a gut instinct to do it. So irrespective of what people feel about it. And I think if we go ahead and do that and still fail, you still come out with that feeling that at least I tried, I attempted, I I feared something very badly, but I did go and give it a try. So I think that feeling to you is much more important than what you think people would have thought. And actually, that is also a perception in our mind that people may think, people may never think also. So we sort of create that impression in our mind that society thinks like that. So that is the biggest learning for me, that the lady saw failures both on the home front as well as on her professional life, but she had the courage to come out of all of that and become successful enough to be a TED speaker. So that was her success. I think I've crossed 2 minutes, sorry, but thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. It was very cogent and it definitely made a lot of impact on me. But at the same time, a question cropped up in my mind when I was listening to you. In the theme of the meeting, we said is listening is learning. And at the same time, the speaker says, listen to your inner voice. And at the same time, we are also saying, listen to other people to be good leaders. So where do we stop listening to others? And when do we stop listening to, start listening to oneself? How do you distinguish between what is right and what is wrong? What are the various factors that you will be considering? Probably. This is one thought that came to my mind, which we can probably hold it for the time being. At the same time, I would like others also to dwell on this, that when we listen to others, while, yes, Sita, yes, while we do listen to others, it's also important to listen to oneself. So where do we draw the line and how do we find? Yes, Sita.
So I was observant when we had the TEDx talk going on, and in fact, my evaluation mind, as often I end up doing that, was evaluating the speaker more on how she's using the stage and all of that, but specifically looking at what caught my attention. I think the point she made, we are a product of ourselves. She gave an example of if this what was dress that she was wearing, if that doesn't fit, she has a choice. But if you're a product of yourself, isn't it something that one need to reflect upon? So that's something which I found to be quite appealing or impactful. The other one point which I was relating to as I was hearing was Straight from the Gut was a very famous book written by, I don't recollect the author. It often many of us, should we listen from here? Should we use our intellect? We are often caught with this sort of a difficult situation. Sometimes it's okay to look over the wall rather than just standing on the wall and figuring out, do I need to make this choice? So I think that's something what she has done perfectly well. And the last takeaway message that completely influenced me, and I was reflecting just before this meeting, my son was saying he's still in his 10th, but he has a desire to, as always, these people, these youngsters, to go into IIT. So he was asking me, do you think I will crack IIT? I said, it all depends. And he wanted an yes or a no answer. And now I think I have a point to mention after listening to this is we have to make a choice. If I have to give him an advice, it could be an yes. But when it is an yes, one has to stay on the vision because always that will be tested. It's not easy. So that is something which really, really impressed me. Back to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Amazing thoughts. We have to be convinced with our vision. We sometimes say something, but if we are not truly aligned with it, then the testing times will show the true metal that we have. Very true. At the same time, you said something which again provoked another line of thought for me. You said that instead of sitting on the fence, we need to take a leap and then take the side. And then everything will fall in place. That's what she said. She did, and you appreciated it. But if you take the leap, it works well, then everybody says, oh, you did the right thing. But if it fails, then people are not going to say, yes, you did the right thing. Then what? So what does a leader do in that circumstance? Not every step that you take is always going to get you the result. Unless you take the risk, you are not going to go there. So then what? That is another question that we'll have to park and then come back to later. Yes. Beautiful. Who would like to talk again? Anything you want to share, or shall I talk about another question or another thought? You would like to say anything? You can, yes, Ranash. Yes, please.
Right. Thank you, Toastmaster Gurja. So while the speaker was going on, and I think a lot of emotions came along her face that we all noticed. One thing I realized, and it hit back to me as well, because down the line, a couple of years ago, it also happened to me, that what we think as failures are not really failures. They're actually learnings, stepping stones actually to the next stage. There's nothing as failure. You might take a choice, and as Toastmaster Sita said, and as Toastmaster Nisha said, it's a choice. As long as you're convicted, and there are tools available in the world. There are people available that you can talk to. And after all that, you are convicted to take a step, you take a step. Yeah, of course, you end up maybe what people say as failures, but I always believe that those are going to be learning curves for you. You know what did not work, and you take those learnings to the next stage and you move to the next. So she might have done the first series, which she said was really tough, and she might have thought of giving up when her son and she was away for a couple of weeks and months, and then she was telling that maybe the son will call her nanny as mom. That was quite emotional for her. But then from there, she took that strength. She didn't give up. People might think that she could fail. Maybe the first series didn't do that great, but when she's now going for a second series, she's got learnings. It's not failure. So it's learnings from those past that she has now moved on to the second. And I think as it relates to me as well. When I was in my career, I took a choice to leave my comfort zone and went to another field that was so challenging, and it was so emotional roller coaster ride for me, that I came back and I moved out from there and returned. But when people saw me, they said that you quit. But I look back and I say that I learned. And the journey and the learnings that I had from that situation has now actually been a catalyst for me in my current job. So I never say that as I look back, it was a failure, but those are all learnings. So it was quite cogent for me when I see that when people look at how you moved from one step to another, it's actually a stepping stone to the next stage of yourself. Over to you.
Very true. At every stage of life, we take a leap of faith. We may not even think of it as a leap of faith, whether it is a love marriage or an arranged marriage, accepting somebody as your life partner, deciding to live with that person forever, taking the decision to give birth to a child, probably in the beginning of your career, middle of your career, important times, whether it's for man or woman, or taking up roles which will demand that you stay away from family, staying away from parents, staying close to parents, doing something which they like, doing something which they do not like. Everywhere we are making choices. Life is all about choices. And in all those choices, some decisions may appear very small to us at a particular point of time, but later on they assume huge proportions, and then we realize, oh God, this impacted my life so much. At that point of time, it doesn't look something so serious, but it does make, we never know what could be a huge decision, what could be a small decision. We never know. Something we think is so very important that it is going to be monumental and it'll, completely change your life upside down. It may just go on very smoothly. And certain decisions we may think this is going to go smoothly, may not, and it may completely rock your boat. That has happened with me several times. Would I call it as poor judgment? Or would I call it as circumstances that went awry? There are sometimes the best of people, the best known plans of mice and men do go awry. There is a proverb like this. So whatever plans you make, there is a divine plan and there are certain things that work against you. Like, for example, recently a student said, I'm going to take admission in the US. Now that suddenly Trump comes in, he's worried, what am I going to do? I'm taking this huge loan. So people go to Ukraine to study and then suddenly there is a war coming up. There are situations that happen beyond your sphere of control. And that does make you wonder, all these, my weighing pros and cons and deciding, does it matter so much? Like he said, do I say an yes or a no to my son? Is it of that monumental importance? It is to him. How does it feel when he hears his father says, yes, even in his heart of heart, if he is having a smallest doubt, and when his father says, yes, you can do it, does it make him feel, wow, my father believes in me? Or does he make him feel burdened? Oh, my father believes I can do it. Will I do it? You never know. The same word, but it can have two different impacts. Because we hear the proverb, it is the last straw that breaks the camel's back. So for one camel, it could be the 1,000th straw, and for another camel, it could be the lakh one. Which is the one? You don't know. Because we cannot understand how much the camel can hold, even if it be our own child. Right? And another question that I have on this, and then after this we can close. If any one of you want to share one experience that shook your self-belief and how you overcame that. Or how you can inculcate self-belief in your children, because that's what the most important thing that came about here. That how do you inculcate that self-belief? The whole world may be against you. Your own parents may be against you, but still you have to stand by your dreams. You have to listen to your inner calling and follow it. And like Renosh said, they may not turn out the way you expected, but there are learnings. So either success or learnings. That's what it is. So are there ways, some design paths to do that? We can discuss one of those two things. And then I think time is up. We have to move on to the evaluation. Anybody would like to talk on that? Rajnish, aap to kuch nahi bole. We didn't say that the speaker should speak only the prepared speech. You can speak unprepared also.
No, nothing like that. So I think this is again is a learning curve. So what I gather from that one is, I think that point is already covered. When you set the vision for yourself, so that vision will be tested because of n number of external factors. So that is where the resilience will come into the picture. And if the person is resilient, definitely he or she can achieve the vision what is being set for themselves. That is what the takeaway point from that video.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Nupur, do you want to say anything?
My thought is that if we take pencil, we write on one hand and same time we are thinking on. So that both are combined and it connects focus and connection. It's in the same thing in our life. We listen to everyone because it helps us to see other perspective and to know ourselves better. At the end, when final decision will be taken, so listen to your heart. What you want to do, you have to do, not listen to other. And of course, at the end, success or failures, it's depend on your decision.
And the responsibility is yours.
Yeah, it's
that is something very important that we need to inculcate in ourselves as well as our children, because everybody will have their say, and it's important to listen to everybody's points of view because it comes from their experience, and give weight to it. And at the same time, you have to understand where your passion lies, where your strength lies, where your skills lies, and what are the risks you can take and what you cannot take, and good or bad that comes along with it. As long as we are willing to take the responsibility for it, the world goes with it. Right? Shall we move on to the next session now, the evaluation session? So I would like grammarian Nisha to come up with her observations. Then, of course, we move on to the counter and the timer report. Before that, can we ask the speech evaluator to deliver the speech evaluation? Yes. Thank you.
What we fear doing most is usually what we most need to do. What a fantabulous, ineffable speech and cogent speech delivered by our prepared speaker, Toastmaster Rajneesh Sharma. And let us all give a warm round of applause for his icebreaker speech. Thank you very much. I congratulate our target speaker, Toastmaster Rajneesh Sharma, for completing his project, icebreaker project. And I remember, we all know beginning is the half end. It takes courage to come up to speech on the podium and deliver the icebreaker. After that, I'm sure our target speaker, Toastmaster Rajneesh Sharma, will be flying high with more such stupendous performance like this. What I liked the best was his introduction. The beginning itself, he started with a nice gift. He said it not as a key chain, but is a gift of growth, success, better and good. So immediately he grabbed the attention of all of us or the audiences, and his speech had nice clarity, cogent message, nice introduction, opening body, and at the end, good firm conclusion for us to do. Another best thing was his relating all of us with his own story. So when we share our stories, the audience is more engrossed and engaged. The blood, sweat, tear, and toil that went into making this speech was quite visible, and I'm sure he will do more speeches in future. So overall, it was excellent speech. Just little suggestions. He can use the virtual podium more, and he can use the vocal variety and to grab the attention. So good luck in future. All the best, Toastmaster Rajneesh. Over to you, TMOD. Thank you very much.
Thank you for that excellent and very enthusiastic, cogent evaluation. Thank you so much. Now, over to you, Nisha.
Thank you so much. So I have to be candid that while this is a meeting with few people, this is one occasion as a grammarian that I have had, my heart is full, really. Sometimes, some meetings, you hear so many good usages of English and so many phrases and idioms that it really, it gives you a very satisfying, there's a satisfying outcome at the end. So the word of the day, while not extensively used, it was used 7 times. Toastmaster Girija used it twice. Suman Mishra also used it twice. Renosh used it once, and I used it twice. So coming to the good usages, and I'm sorry I have written too many, so I might actually go ahead of my time. But change your perspective, spellbound. Listening is learning beyond any religion, flutter their wings. Nature tells us something. Keenness to listen, introspect, layers of listening. The best is the enemy of good. That was a very nice quote. Nerve-wracking, strive for perfection. Universe heard my cries, setting the bar too high. What we fear doing most is what we most need to do. Testing times will show true metal, monumental importance. Best laid plans go awry. It is the last straw that breaks the camel's back. Resilience, fantabulous, stupendous. So I should say it was a stupendous experience with such limited participation, so many beautiful usages. Not so good usages, not too much, but it is not children's, it is children. It is not recognition, it is recognition. I'm not sure if to become better and good is correct. It should be to become good and better. From two aspects is incorrect. On two aspects. Convicted to take a step, I think it is incorrect. Convinced to take a step. That's it. So thank you for this role as grammarian, and over to you, TMC.
Thank you for the cogent and concise presentation. Thank you. And your observations are very meticulous. Thank you so much.
I'll add one to your tally. So using that word once more.
Excellent, excellent. Now I request our counter and timer to give the report.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the day. Thank you, Toastmaster of the day. From my R-counter report that I have jotted down, I was so engrossed, I should admit it candidly. The entire meeting today was indeed a very cogent affair in terms of all the segments of it was so compelling that I was so engrossed, and I have not made much of the R-counter usages. However, what I can call out is a few of you were completely flawless. Toastmaster Girija, Toastmaster Sumant Mishra, and Grammarian Nisha, and Toastmaster Ranish as well. A few R's were there. In fact, I observed that the TED speaker, she actually went about saying, I don't know if that's an R sort of an usage, it's a filler word, but I just noted that down as well. Rajneesh, you had 3 instances of Toastmaster Rajneesh usage. Toastmaster Nupur, 2 usages that I have recorded. And that's on the R counter report. Coming to the timer report, it's speak and span. I'm very happy as a timer. As I said, time and tide, wait for none. You did listen to something which doesn't sound, which is the time in this case. So both the speaker and the evaluator are qualified. The speaker had taken 5 minutes, 52 seconds, which is a qualification time for us. And the evaluator is also well within the bounds, 2 minutes, 20 seconds. Back to you, Toastmaster of the day, Toastmaster Girija.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Thank you. Now that we've completed the evaluation session, I must say that today's session was so very satisfactory because I felt that we all could listen to something together. And that also makes a difference. Listening alone is a different experience. Listening with people to the same thing is a different experience. When I listen to a music by myself, that's a different joy. But when I'm listening in the auditorium and listening to it with 1,000 other people, that's a different joy. And the same thing goes for a speech. And at the same time, it is very different because the same speech can evoke different kinds of thoughts in people because it resonates with different experiences. It probably draws from your memory. It takes you back down the memory lane. It probably tickles your funny bone. And sometimes something may not appear funny and they see somebody sitting next to me smiling because he remembers something. And somebody else is almost on the verge of tears because she remembers something else. So a speech is something a totally different experience when we watch it or listen to it with people. So once in a while, I think we all must have this kind of experience. And the kind of discussion that we had is something that I'm going to take it as a blessing, as something that is going to stay with me because those thoughts are going to inspire me to think beyond what I have thought myself capable of. Like, even though I might have read it so many times, like, for example, every experience is either a success or a learning. There is no failure. I might have heard it. But then when Renaud says to me, yes, it makes a difference. When Sita says, do I say yes, and a vision is something that I have to stand by forever, then it stands with me. So it makes a difference when it comes from somebody you value. That is again another experience that Toastmasters gives us. So we must make use of this best opportunity that we have. I would request you all to suggest any video that you think that we all should listen, and we should do it once in 2 months, we must continue this practice. I hope you all agree with me. And if you have different ways of doing it, and if you all think what went well today, what you did not go well today, you can share it with me, and then we can close it today. Anything that you think we should do differently, or you think did not go well, or we can do better, please suggest. Or you want to write to me later about it, that's also okay. Would do that? Yes. Okay. Because I think we as a group, we gel a lot, we support each other a lot, we encourage a lot, and we can go a long way. Finding out each other's strengths, skills, and see how we can strengthen those. Not just come and speak here and then forget about it until we meet after 15 days. What is it that we can do for each other? Let's look at that. Yes? Okay. Thank you. And I'm handing it over to the presiding officer of the day.
Thank you, Toastmaster Day, Toastmaster Girija. A big round of applause to her, taking us through a unique journey today that I felt. But before I come to that, can we all request can I request a group photo before we leave? I think this would be the first unique meeting where we had a TEDx presentation coming on screen and we're talking about that. So just to keep it in memory, to be nice if you can all switch on our cameras. All right, all of you are there. So take your smiles, thumbs up. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Okay, done. Thank you. I think we had one more. We had a guest, I think. I just saw someone joined in. Not
Yeah.
sure. Yeah, joined and left. Okay. So, okay, I've just noted down a few things and then we'll adjourn. One is for our speaker, Toastmaster Rajneesh, you're given your icebreaker speech. So as is the practice in Toastmasters, we do a standing ovation for those who successfully give their icebreaker speech. So on behalf of everyone, and as a presiding officer for today, let me do the honors. And if anyone can join me as well, that would be fantastic. A big round of applause to Toastmaster Rajneesh. Kudos. This is the first step you have taken. Many more steps to reach your vision. And I wish you all the very best. And I remember
Thank you.
the time when I'm sure many of us remember our first icebreaker speech, and maybe for some of us it would have been many years ago. And the best part in Toastmasters is that when you start a new path, you always start with an icebreaker speech. And that's the humble beginning. No matter you are a DTM, and I've seen many who have done triple DTMs, yet they all start from that seed. The only thing what we do is we see how creative we can become in that icebreaker speech, but still you need to sow that seed again. So well done, Toastmaster Rajneesh. For me, you're so calm and composed when you gave your speech. Some of us might tremble when we give our first speech, but well done on that. And one thing that I loved, and which we during the days when I started, when you have to give an icebreaker speech, and we do for gavels, Toastmaster Girija and myself, we do for gaveliers, children from the age of 12 to 17. When you ask them to give a topic, they will say, myself, me and myself and family, daddy, mummy, myself. This is what they will tell. They cannot go beyond that. Even for us as Toastmasters, we will say, my journey in life, my good, memories. This is what we think. But for you to come up with a topic as best is the enemy of the good, I have to salute, really. It is for a first time that you're giving first speech in your entire Toastmasters journey. This is entirely different. I have not seen someone come up with a different thought. As we leaders keep growing, we will evolve and we will think differently. And for some of us who go to competitions, we do this. I've been in many competitions and we change it to give what we're going to expect from the speaker. So you did really good in giving a theme, a topic for your speech. So kudos to it. And Rajinish, don't feel, gain your confidence. We are here. You have so many people here and in our clubs. Reach out to any one of us. You want support, guidance, help. You have prepared your speech, give it to your mentors. We are there to help you out. You are not alone. And one thing I always tell when I give leadership talks is that, especially for Toastmasters, this is a platform to make mistakes. It is okay to make mistakes, and you learn from that. And I'm so blessed to have very good mentors who have done it and shaped me. The first couple of meetings I had probably, since Toastmaster Sita was the accounter, he would have not stopped writing in that sense. He would have had to have 2 pens or maybe 2 pencils. There were 2 or 3 of us who used to make 20, 30 ums, ahs, and too many things. Now I have started making it cautious effort when I speak. So well done, Toastmaster Rajinish. I'm not naming each one of you, but all the role players, well done. Thank you for your time, effort, the evaluator. Where is Toastmaster Sumant? He's a doctor by profession, and I see sometimes he goes immediately for his professional work. Taking his time off from the Ministry of Health is also not easy because he would be called at any point of time by the ministry or the government. So well done. Thank you so much. And today's actual creative thought came from Toastmaster Girija. She is also the one who made us feel we are in the sky out here, flying out there, getting, raising our hopes. But the creative thought came from her when she said, why don't we talk about something, we need to do something different. And she said, TEDx speaker is there. Let's discuss about it. I have been part of some storytelling, or they read a book or a novel and then talk about it, maybe one chapter or 2 chapter at the max. But this is different. And I'm sure all of us will also give our feedback to Toastmaster Girija on how we can take this forward. We want to make this session, creative ideas, please do that. So well done. Thank you so much, Toastmaster Girija. And by the way, I have to really recognize the passion she has, because she's traveled today from US to UK, 7.5 hours travel. She landed. I was a backup for her, but she landed, and the first thing she wrote to me is, I am joining. She didn't say hi. She didn't say, how are you? I'm okay. My health is fine. She said, I'm joining. I replied back saying, take rest. But she said, I've opened the meeting already. So I wish her all the best, and I'm sure that she is also a leader in a caliber that she's taking many people, motivating people and inspiring people. So always, thank you so much, Toastmaster Girija. And as the theme of today says, we are actually living in a world of constant noise. A siren wails out, your mobile notification ping, conversation clamor, all these take away our attention from what actually makes sense. In this cacophony world, it's actually an art of truly listening. And many of us have forgotten that. Listening, and we see today, is kind of a practice for us. We understand today that listening is not merely a passive activity. It's actually a foundation of learning. And thank you, everyone, and hope to see you in the next meeting. With that, I adjourn today's meeting.
I'll